Hey guys, Wizzy Games here, and today I've got for you the second episode of my F1 2015 custom career mode. Right guys, so as you can see we line up in P6 alongside the Williams, and here we're on Brazil for round 2. I want to quickly mention, unfortunately I was a bit of an idiot and I didn't save the progress from round 1, round Mexico. So our 18 points, it still exists because I'm obviously going to leave the video up. However, I didn't save the progress, so I'm very sorry there. So that won't be in future episodes as we dive up the inside of both Ferraris. Then we're actually into P3, just behind the Mercs. But just in case you wonder why we haven't got a lot of points in the future episodes when I show you the tables and stuff, you'll know that 18 points didn't save, so I'm very sorry about that. But anyway, more on the gameplay. We go very wide, coming through turn 3 I believe, and we're in a very good position. We're ahead of both Ferraris, we're in 3rd place, and it actually looks like we're gaining on the Mercedes cars, which yeah, through that corner we've locked up our front right, gone a bit wide. This corner here through the middle sector, we just seem to be able to get on the power so much earlier than the AI, and that is a real weak spot of the AI. Take a whole bunch of curb there to get on the power early, borderline corner cut in, but we should get away with that. And we're actually right on the back now of the Mercs. However, what you guys need to remember, and what I was probably forgetting at this point, is that there's a huge straight, 2 massive straights, and obviously with the Honda engine, we're at a huge disadvantage going down the straight, so we're going to be a lot slower than the other cars, and our attention from the Merc slowly changes to Kimi Räikkönen, who is now coming round our outside. We're going to have to try and outbrake him. We just about do that, cover the inside, follow the racing line quite nicely. However, we do go a bit wide, and that might allow Räikkönen to have another opportunity. He gets a second bite of the cherry with another dosage of DRS. Once again we take the inside line, but Räikkönen, we just got up the inside. Räikkönen actually broke and he was ahead of us. He could have just swooped, took the apex, and we wouldn't have had an answer there, but for some reason he went a little bit wide, whether that's because he wanted to give us room or he may have outbroke himself, I'm not too sure. But nonetheless, we're still in P3 and we're going to fight very hard for this podium, because despite obviously getting the podium in Mexico, it hasn't saved, and I want to try and I mean, we're never going to win the championship realistically in this McLaren Honda, but we're able to mix it up with the big guys and have some really fun races. But coming around the final corner now, and I have the feeling that this is going to be a race-long battle with Räikkönen. He's so much faster than us. I mean, we do build a little bit of a gap in the second sector, but on to the end of lap 5 and at the start of lap 6, tyre wear's starting to kick in, and it's just allowing Räikkönen to get us into the traction zones. But he's up the inside of us now. We just about hold it round the outside, lift through that second part, which will affect our exit slightly, but Räikkönen was on the outside, so we shouldn't get too good of a run. However, I say that once again he's going round the outside. Is he gonna this time? No, he goes wide again. Räikkönen once again trying to leave us a bit too much room there, and we just go back up the inside really. But lap 8 now, or the end of lap 7, we've come in and we put on another set of option tyres. Now, just like Mexico, we're basically looking at a 4-stop with 3 option stints and a prime stint. But on lap 11 now, Räikkönen back again. We did do the undercut and we had about a 1 or 2 second gap, but after he closed in and 3 laps into our stint, tyre wear not that bad, like it's just about starting to affect our lap times. But unfortunately that time Räikkönen, just like the other 2 times, he gets past us on the outside, but this time he didn't leave too much room and he got the move done. However, he probably wasn't expecting a wild Jensen Button to dive up his inside, and we try and do some sort of switchback. And now are we going to launch it up the inside of this corner? We are. We take a whole bunch of curb, but we're tight on the apex, and Raikkonen will get a better exit, and we will get DRS on Raikkonen, I believe, but we take a lot of curb to try and just make that corner as wide as possible, trying to get a good exit as we can. However, just that straight line speed of the Ferrari is unbelievable, and we can't compete with that. Despite having DRS, we've actually now got Ricciardo, who's in probably the second slowest car, well, along with the Manor. That Red Bull is slow in a straight line, however it's able to match us in the corners, so we should have an easier time defending against him. But we've also got now both Williams of Bottas and Massa, and they are mighty in a straight line. But we drop it down to Lena. We come into the pits for our second option stint, so we took that stint 8 laps rather than the first stint 7, and as you can see on the tyre indicator, they were just annihilated. But we come in for another set of option tyres. I like this undercut strategy. We've done it in Mexico, and we're going to do it again here in Brazil because it seems to work for us. We're able to gain a lot on the AI. On lap 17 now, and we've got Vettel, who was actually behind the likes of Raikkonen, behind the likes of Bottas, Massa and Ricciardo. I'm not really sure what happened to him at the start of the race. I think he might have got spun by his teammate coming out of turn 1. That's what I think happened, but he seemed to drop back nonetheless. But he's with us now, and he's going to have DRS, although he does look quite far back, so we now skip on to lap 20. So he didn't make a move on that lap, but he has here. We're going to try and get some sort of switchback to get a better exit. We're right up his gearbox. Now we're going to try and get in the slipstream. Are we going to make a worldy move into this right-hander up the hill? We're actually going to take a whole lot of curb, again borderline corner cutting, I apologise, but we're going to continue, and we just about dive up the inside, but he's still there, and now we're going to have to leave Vettel room. We're just about on the power earlier than him. He's got a tighter line, so we're able just about to get on the power, and we have the line once again slightly corner cutting that, I apologise, but we managed to hold position for now. P4, that would be a great result from 6th on the grid coming into the final corner. However, I just feel like Vettel and the cars behind have just got so much more speed than us. We are very slow when the tyre wear kicks in. We're only really that fast or matching the AI at the start of our stints. But now Vettel, he's looking feisty. Is he going to come up the inside? We defend to the inside, force him on the outside. He brakes later than us. We've actually turned in about 8 times to that corner as I didn't want to cut it. We tried to do a switchback. It's not really worked. Vettel, despite our attempted switchback, Vettel's traction is a whole lot better than ours. And all of a sudden, Bottas out of nowhere, we slightly hit him, and collision with Bottas there. He just came out of nowhere. He positioned his car really well, actually, that we couldn't go around the outside or up the inside. So it's good driving from Bottas. However, we get a bit of a better exit on him. We're going to dive up his inside. Is this going to be the same as Vettel? We're going to have to leave Bottas room on the inside like we did to Vettel. However, we'll get on the power a little bit earlier, and we'll go into 5th place. So all of a sudden we were looking good for 4th, and Vettel's already got about a 1.5, maybe 2 second lead. He's well out of DRS, and I think just like Raikkonen, he's going to disappear into the distance. We haven't got much chance of catching him, and now we're under pressure from the Williams cars again. I really hate these Williams cars. They're too fast in a straight line. It's just unbelievable how quick they are. DRS and slipstream, our McLaren Honda. We're going to have to position our car very well, but we don't. We allow the Williams to go up our inside, and look at that. We try and go around the outside. We've slightly tapped him, and I may have slightly cut the corner there. I actually went into 2nd and forgot to shift up because I was too busy looking at the Williams. And now Massa comes through on Bottas. Is he going to get us as well? We try and squeeze him to the inside. Massa's tight on the curb, and we just about get him round the outside. That was a great move from Felipe Massa. He done his teammate and nearly done us, but he was too tight on the curb to get a good exit. It's now lap 24, coming on to lap 25, and we've come into the pits. I've changed this 4-stop into a 3-stop. I stretched my option stint to lap 24. And as you can see, the whole prime stint, nothing happened. All we were doing was keeping position from Ricciardo and the Williams, who I believe pit again. I don't know where they went. They just fell off the face of the earth, to be honest. But last lap, surely we've defended this whole Grand Prix, and 5th place would be a fantastic result. Ricciardo Now look at that, he's got a mighty run. We're going to force him to the outside, but he's so far ahead already. We're going to try and dive it up the inside, slightly lose the back end on worn tyres. Can we get a better exit? Not quite. We're going to now get in the slipstream of Daniel Ricciardo. We drop it into standard because I was burning all my excess fuel, and now we're going to try one up the inside. Surely, yes we do. We dive it up the inside. Third time's the charm. Are we going to be able to make it round the outside? We're a bit further back than the other two moves, but we've still got on the power earlier. We're side by side through pretty much this whole middle sector. This is great racing. Dive up the inside, trying to squeeze him out on the outside, but he's still there. He's got better traction than us. And look at that. Oh no, Ricciardo slightly hit us off the circuit there. However, I see that more as a racing incident because it's the way the circuit is really. It tightens up on that left-hander, and I see that as just quite unfortunate. And now we need to make sure we don't lose 6th to Bottas. We have DRS, which might just save our bacon, and it does, and we remain in 6th. So considering we qualified 6th, I'm not disheartened with that result. A good old 8 points. And let me know, guys, if you enjoyed this video. Obviously it's unfortunate we lost that position to Ricciardo at the end, but let me know if you enjoyed. I've already recorded Japan and USA, so those videos should be up soon this week. And yeah, subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.